I think video, I cannot have video. We cannot have video. Leave it. Okay, guys. What is today's date, guys? February 14th, 2022. Yes, boss. Okay. Yeah, today's topic is distributed logging. Oh, distributed logging. I'll change the date, don't worry. Distributed logging and tracing, guys. Distributed logging and tracing. Tell me what is what is tracing, guys? What is tracing? First of all, tell me. Tracing. What's the meaning of tracing? Tracing, guys. Find out what is tracing, my dear. Come on. Yeah, flow of execution, guys. Finding out flow of execution is called tracing. Finding out execution flow of multiple. Okay. Finding out execution flow. Finding out execution flow or execution path from request to response. From request to response is called tracing, guys. Is called tracing. Okay, tell me what is this logging, guys? Tell me, guys. What is logging? What is logging? Yeah, finding out various. Okay, Satish Kumar, congratulations. Yeah, finding out various lines of code and various components that are involved in the flow of execution having different logger levels like debug, info, trace, like debug, info, trace. Come on. We have different logger levels now, boss. Info, warn. Oh, okay. And etc. Is called logging, guys. Is called logging. Yeah. What is intra communication, guys? Intra communication of microservices. Tell me what is intra communication of microservices, guys? Come on. Yeah. It speaks about the communication that happened between. It speaks about the communication that happened between. Okay. Okay, that happens between multiple microservices. Multiple microservices. Okay. Yeah. The given request, the request given to one microservice, one MS, talking to another MS. One microservice talking to another MS is called, tell me, intra communication between microservices. Is called intra communication between microservices. Okay, boss. Definitely that is called what? Intra communication between microservices. Okay, guys. Oh, can we call something like this, guys? Distributed logging and tracing. Distributed logging and tracing. What is this? When the microservices are in communication or in intra communication, guys. When the microservices are in intra communication, enabling tracing and logging activities across the multiple microservices, enabling tracing and logging activities across the multiple microservices to find out execution flow of each and every request to response is called distributed tracing and logging. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Tell me, guys. This will be enabled. This will be enabled on microservices for one time, one time uh, on multiple microservices one time. Okay, to help next, to help new developers. Okay, testers, debuggers. Okay, debuggers. Okay, UAT team, UAT, acceptance test team, user acceptance test team. Okay, guys. User acceptance team. Okay. To know the execution flow from request to response across the multiple microservices. Across the multiple microservices. Okay, forever. It will be implemented one time, guys, but it will help new developers. Or you left the company, someone came and joined. You should understand how the communication is happening across the multiple microservices or not. How the communication is taking place across the multiple microservices or not. Yeah, see, finding out logging activities, tracing activity with respect to one microservice is called normal logging and normal tracing. But finding out, okay, microservices communication across the multiple microservices that are there in intra communication is called distributed tracing and distributed logging, guys. Everyone getting my point there, guys? Come on. Right. Okay. Now let's see. This is my microservice 1, guys. This is my microservice 2. This is my microservice 3. This is my microservice N. Okay. This is my project. As usually, my project is having multiple microservices. This is my project. Here is my project. Project or application. Okay, here is my project or what? Application, guys. See this, boss? I'm giving the request. Here, response is delivered. Giving the request, response is delivered. Here is my MS1. Here is my MS2. Here is my MS3. Here is my MS4. Yeah. What is the flow, guys? MS1 talking to MS2. MS2 talking to MS3. MS3 talking to MS4. Back. MS4 coming back, guys. Yes, coming back. Yes, boss. This MS this MS, all three MS log information, I'm planning to write in one log file. Info.log. What, guys? Info.log file. And here is my log file. Yeah. So whatever logging we are doing across the multiple microservices, what is this? Across the multiple microservices is called distributed logging and tracing. Array, listen, boss. Okay, boss. Logging is extension of tracing. Don't think both are two different things, guys. Logging is extension of tracing. Okay, in fact, okay, logging is a kind of tracing activity. Yes, na boss? In tracing, we can get different components that are involved in the flow of execution. Logging also, we are going to get it. Come on. A kind of tracing activity. Okay. The only difference is okay. The logging activity, okay, writes its log messages to okay, what is that? Messages to destination called file or DBR, mail server, and etc. Array log4j kind of thing, ra babu. Mail server and etc. Having ability to filter the messages based on the recollect logger levels we have chosen. Based on the logger levels chosen. Suppose I said logger level is info. What happened? Info and above messages will be written to log file or not. Logger level is warn. Warn and above level messages will be written to log file or not. Come on. Okay, guys. Right, guys. This is project, guys. Project is having a lot of microservices, guys. Lot of components, lot of microservices are there. Okay. MS1, MS2, MS3, MS4, MS5, MS6. Order can be anything, boss. Now let's see, guys. This here to here we talked. From there, communication happened. From there, it came, then response. Yeah, this is my request, guys. This is my response. Okay, request, response. Okay. If execution is taking place across the multiple microservices, then we need, come on, then we need the support of, distributed logging and tracing, guys. Distributed logging and tracing. I hope you got the clarity, guys. Come on, everyone. Yes. Okay, boss. Now, Slueth and Zipkin. Slueth and Zipkin. What these are? Array, these are the tools that are given by Spring Cloud environment. These are the tools that are given by Spring Cloud environment. Okay. To help us in distributed tracing and logging, guys. What Slueth will do, guys? Slueth will provide unique ID for every request flow. Unique ID for every request flow. By getting this unique ID for every request flow, programmer can find out what? Execution flow of every request. That means he can find out various components that are involved in the execution of every request, various microservices that are involved in the execution of every microservice. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay, guys. And then what about Zipkin's law? Zipkin. Okay, in Zipkin, what we it collects the data from microservice that is generated with the support of Slueth, that is generated with the support of what? Slueth, and it presents it as a UI, provides a UI to see the details, guys. Provides a UI to see the details. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay. A Zipkin client contains what? Samplers objects. Samplers objects are nothing but what? Collecting data from MS using Slueth and what? Zipkin server, and using that. From there we can collect the information, and based on the information we can find out what? Logging details by opening the log file. Logging details by opening the log file. Understanding my statement, guys? Okay. So what is the final conclusion? Slueth and Zipkin. What is Slueth? This is the one who enables distributed logging across the multiple microservices. What Zipkin will do? Zipkin will provide GUI environment. What environment? GUI environment to see information about information about various details related to tracing and logging that happened across the multiple microservices. Everyone got the clarity, guys? These two are okay. Components or tools provided by the Spring Cloud environment. Spring Cloud environment to enable distributed logging and tracing. To simply enable distributed logging and tracing. Distributed logging and tracing. Okay. On the microservices, on the microservices that are in intra communication. On the microservices that are in intra communication. What is slueth, guys? Tell me, what is slueth? Okay. A Spring Cloud component. A Spring Cloud component. Okay. Providing unique ID. What is that, guys? Unique ID for each request flow. Each request flow. Okay, guys. Each request flow. The programmer can use this unique ID. What guide? Unique ID. Can use these unique IDs to find out execution flow of each request, guys. To find out the execution flows of request. To find out the execution flows of request. Are you comfortable, my dear? Come on. The programmer can use these unique IDs to find out the execution flows of request, guys. To simply find out the execution flows of request. Okay, guys. Are you listening my statement, guys? Okay. Yeah, everyone please copy this meeting ID. Sudhakar Sharma sir is starting React JS at 9 a.m. from February 16th, guys. Okay, guys. Yeah. For the student who has taken as part of package, they can start attending React JS classes. Okay, guys. Tell me, we have two types of IDs, boss. One is a trace ID, other one is span ID. What is trace ID? Unique ID given for complete flow request to response. If developer gets this ID, then he can find out, okay, then you can find out all the MS flows that are involved in communication, guys. What is span ID, guys? Unique ID given for one microservice flow. If developer gets this ID for only one MS log lines, we find out. Yeah, there are two types of IDs, boss. One is a trace ID, one is span ID. Is that clear? Okay, guys. Right, boss. Two types of IDs. Yeah, what is that? First one, trace ID. Trace ID. Yeah, trace ID, guys. If unique ID for each request to flow. Unique ID for each request to flow. flow across the multiple microservices. Across the multiple microservices. If a developer gets this trace ID, tell me, he can find out all the microservices that are involved. All the microservices that are involved in a request flow. In a request flow, guys. Okay, then next, what is there? Span ID. Okay, guys. Next one is what? Span ID. What is span ID? Unique ID. Unique ID given for each microservice. Unique ID given for each microservice, guys. Okay, each microservice. If a developer gets this span ID, then he can find out. Then he can find out all the executions that happened in a microservice. All the executions that happened in a microservice. And this is with respect to each microservice, guys. Okay, execution that happened. Okay, don't worry. I will give time. I will give diagrammatic representation of what span ID and span ID and trace ID, guys. Don't worry about that. Span ID and trace ID. Don't worry about that, guys. Okay. Okay, now let's have a look, guys. Let's have a look how the things will happen. 1 minute. Okay, I'll introduce a zipkin also, then we will go for it. What is zipkin? Okay, zipkin, guys. Slueth is taking care of everything now. Flow of execution, tracing it is doing. Then what zipkin will do, sir? Okay, zipkin, or we can say zipkin client also, no problem. Zipkin client, guys. Tell me what happens, right? We need to add zipkin client dependency. Listen, we need to add zipkin client dependency to every microservice, guys. What it will do, slueth will take care of logging activity, tracing activity, and what it will do, it provides a GUI environment. It provides a GUI environment to display those messages having UI. Having a UI. So that means slueth is to perform distributed logging and tracing, guys. Zipkin is to present them in a proper way to developers. It is there to present. It is there to present to what? Developers in a proper UI. Always remember that. We need to add zipkin client dependency to every MS along with slueth dependency. Slueth dependency. Okay. Along with slueth dependency, guys. Okay. It contains sampler objects. What contains, guys? Sampler objects. Okay. Nothing but. Hmm. Okay. Nothing but the data collected from nothing but the data collected from okay microservices using sleuth tool and sleuth tool and sleuth tool too. Okay, sleuth tool and zipkin server. I'll introduce what is zipkin server also. Zipkin server. Okay, guys. Zipkin server. So, mm, so, it can provide it can provide lots of details, lots of details related to what is that? Lots of details related to trace ID, span ID, and etc. with respect to trace ID with respect to the distributed logging and tracing enabled on the okay enabled across the multiple microservices enabled across the multiple microservices. Oh guys, are you understanding my statement, guys? Come on. Right. So I'll put one diagrammatic representation, then you will get clarity, guys. There's one more terminology called zipkin server. Everything you will get clarity when I draw the diagram, guys. So please try to observe the diagram very carefully. Okay. Right, boss. This is our basic project. Project is having what, guys? Multiple microservices. Microservice 1, microservice 2, microservice 3. Yeah, if not 3, you can take 4 microservices also, I don't mind. So that means microservices are in intra-communication. Okay. Now tell me, guys, what first microservice will have? Its own logic and logic to communicate with the next microservice. Its own logic to interact with the next microservice. Come on. Okay, when it comes to last microservice, can we expect both, guys? No. It is having direct its own logic only. It is having its own logic only. No logic to communicate with the next microservice. Are you understanding my statement, boss? Come on. Now tell me here, this is application or project having microservice architecture. Microservices architecture. Yeah, microservices architecture. Tell me what happens, boss. Tell me what happens. Here is my request. Here is my response. This is my request, guys. Yeah, communication, intra-communication. Again comes back. Again request, guys. Again comes back. Yeah. Now listen, guys. What Sleuth will do? Collects the log messages from each and every microservice. Collects the log messages from each and every microservice. So just a minute. This is my request. This is my response. Okay. Tell me. MS1. This is my MS2, microservice 2. This is my MS3, this microservice 3. Tell me next one. Okay. Okay, guys. Now tell me here. MS1 logic. MS1 logic. Here is what, guys? MS1 logic. Next what? Call to MS2. Call to MS2. Come on. Next, MS2 logic. MS2 logic. Next, call to MS3. Yes, boss. Next one, MS3 logic. Here is my MS3 logic, guys. Tell me, what is the flow of execution, my dear? What is the flow of execution, my dear? We generate request. That is number one. Number two, MS logic is executing. Yes. Number three, okay. Calling to MS2, calling to MS2. Number four, this one. Next, number five, this one. Come on, guys. This is number six. Number six. After that, control comes back. Don't forget, control comes back. What do you say, guys? Yes, this communication I will give here only. This is number three. This is number five. Yeah, number seven, guys. After that, it comes back. That is number seven. This is number eight. This is number nine. Okay, guys. Fine. Array, we use na REST template that get for object, something we call na intra-communication, microservices intra-communication. Remember or not? The same old microservice intra-communication only. Okay, guys. What Slueth will do, guys? Okay, what we do? All the details, tracing or logging details will be taken care by whom, guys? Slueth. Will be taken care by what? Slueth here, guys. Slueth, guys. Tell me, guys. Finds out execution flow. Execution. Finds out execution flow across the microservices. Across the microservices. Wow. Finds out execution flow across the multiple microservices. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Come on. Right, guys. Okay, guys. Now tell me, from this smooth, whatever sleuth generated data will come to Zipkin client, guys. Here is my Zipkin client, and this Zipkin client will have what? What object? Sampler object. Okay. Sampler objects, guys. Who maintains this sampler object? Zipkin client. And sleuth generated log messages details will be given to Zipkin client in the form of sampler objects. Okay, Zipkin client. After that, what next, guys? What this Zipkin client will do? This Zipkin client will pass the messages to Zipkin server. All the details that has gathered will be passed to whom? Zipkin server, guys. Here is my Zipkin server. Zipkin server provides UI. This Zipkin server provides UI. Yeah, Zipkin server default port number is what is this? 9411. What is that, guys? 9411. Okay. Next. Okay. Print tracing details, guys. Okay. Displays, not prints, displays tracing details. What details, guys? That means what? Flow of execution. Flow of execution. Come on. Flow of execution details. Flow of execution details. Yeah, still not over, guys. Still not over. Flow of execution details. Yeah. What those details, Trace ID, span ID details. Trace ID, span ID details. What details, guys? Trace ID, span ID details. Okay. Tell me what will happen, What will happen, Okay. Here, log file. Okay. Here is log file. Hey, don't worry. Here basically log file will be there. Okay. Otherwise, I'll put like this. I will put like this. I will put like this. All this information will be written to log file also now, boss. Don't forget, logging activities also will happen and the information will be written to this log file also. Okay, guys. Okay, log file. What is this, guys? Log file. Okay, what programmer will do? What programmer will do? Here is the programmer, guys. Here is the programmer. Here is the programmer or developer. Collect trace ID, span ID, from zipkin server UI. Zipkin server UI. What server, guys? Zipkin server UI. Oh. Submit trace ID, span ID here to know the flow. Come on. To know the flow. To know the flow. Yes, boss. So these are the things, guys. Right, guys. Log file. Slueth enabled log messages. Slueth enabled log messages will be written to log file. Will be written to log file. Okay. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay. Now listen here. Here we have trace ID, span ID details only, not log messages. Here only trace ID, span ID details. Only IDs will be there. Only IDs will be there. By submitting those IDs to log file, we have to know the file log. We have to know the log messages. Suppose first certain request trace ID is XY 123. By opening this file, by searching for 123, we can find out all the log information related to 123 request. Okay, certain microservice, my span ID is what is that? 1122. By submitting 1122 log file, what are the execution happened in 1122 ID based microservice can be find out here. Are you understanding my statement? Here only IDs will come. We have to submit IDs to log file in order to find out the details. Don't think much. We'll see practicals of this also. Okay. Now listen. This is the flow end for this one, guys. Here what happens? Okay. Here what happens? All the log finds out execution flow across the multiple days. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, if possible, from slueth only, I will give the log message. This was From smooth only, I will give the log messages. Tell me, guys, since Sluth is enabled on all microservices, Sluth will get the things. Yeah. Sluth object, guys. What this Sluth object, what it will do? What is write the log messages to log file. This Sluth will write the log messages to log file, guys. Next, it's a two-way communication, guys. zip client contacts the Sluth, and prepares a sampler objects having execution flow details. This is C. Okay, zip client writes the information. Come on. Okay, zip client writes the information to zipkin server. That is D. Zip client writes the information to zipkin. Okay, zipkin server, guys. Zipkin server displays those details. That is E. Okay. What programmer will do, guys? He will collect trace ID or span ID from zipkin server UI and submits over here. He will collect it. That is EF. And submit trace ID here to know the flow. This is G. Everyone understanding my statement, guys? So this is the flow that will happen. This is basic request and response flow, guys. Number 129. Okay, request to response flow. Request to response flow. That is 129, guys. Next, A to D, A to F, A to F, F or G, A to G, A to G. Tell me what is this? Sluth and zipkin related log messages, log or trace messages flow. Sluth and zipkin related log or trace messages flow, guys. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Come on. 129, request to response flow. A to G, that is there. The A to G, that is there. Fine. Okay. I think you got somewhat idea, theoretical idea. The role of... okay. Yeah. Now, what is this? Zipkin server, guys. What is zipkin server? Zipkin server. Okay. Provides UI environment running on the port number. What is the port number, guys? 9411. Okay. 9411. Okay, that is default. Running on the port number. Oh. Okay, guys. The zipkin clients of each MS collects what is that? Trace IDs, span IDs, trace ID, span IDs, trace ID stand is from slueth component of distributed tracing comma logging from what? Slueth component, and gives to what, guys? And gives to zipkin server. Okay. Gives to zipkin server to display having user interface. To display having UI. UI means what, guys? To display having UI. UI is nothing but user interface, guys. Comfortable, my dear? Got the clarity, my dear, everyone? Okay. Now listen, guys. Yeah, tell me, guys. There will be multiple microservices. Each microservice will be having separate what? Zipkin client. And each microservice we add separate smooth. But how many zipkin servers we should take, guys? How many zipkin servers should take? Come on. Yeah, there must be only one zipkin server which is centralized that collects all data from zipkin clients and display as a UI, right? Okay. While working with distributed logging and tracing. Distributed logging and tracing. Each MS contains its own zipkin client and slueth component. But there must be only one zipkin server. What server, guys? Only one zipkin server. Zipkin server as centralized server. There must be only one zipkin server, nothing but what, guys? As centralized server. Okay. As centralized server. Okay. That collects data from all zipkin clients. Okay. Zipkin clients of different MS. As sampler objects. What objects, guys? Sampler objects. To display as a UI. As a UI. Everything reflects in the diagram, guys. Everything reflects in the diagram. Okay. The developer or programmer collects trace ID or span ID from. Collects trace ID or span ID from. Okay. Zipkin server UI. Zipkin server UI and okay, and searches in okay, the distributed log file generated by the smooth to find out okay, log messages for flow of execution. Understanding my statement, guys? Come on. Are Zipkin server goes down means we have to shut down, boss. It's something like this. If database going down, what happens? Nothing will happen. Application will start behaving differently. No database where data will be stored. Sir, if web server gone down, what happened? Website will be down. So we should make sure that Zipkin server is in running mode always. Understanding? Okay. What we add to microservices is Zipkin client, where all Zipkin clients related trace IDs and span IDs are collected and displayed is what? Zipkin server UI. But Zipkin client gets this information from where? Slueth. What Slueth will do? Will be there in what? Across the multiple microservices to generate log messages to the distributed log file and to provide information that is required for Zip clients. Okay, to provide information that is required for Zip client, guys. I hope you got the clarity, guys. Come on. Okay, guys. Now, can I ask some questions here? Question 1. In one MS, in one project of microservices architecture, can you tell me how many microservices will be there? How many microservices will be there? How many microservices will be there? Answer. One or multiple? One or multiple? Definitely there is a chance of having multiple microservices. Yes, na? Multiple as needed. Okay, guys. Multiple as needed. Right. Tell me. Let me ask one more question. What is microservice intra-communication? Intra-communication. Answer. It is the communication between microservices. That means one MS to another MS communication. One MS to another MS communication, guys. Agree with me, boss? One MS to another MS communication. Okay. Already we discussed it, guys. Already we discussed on it. We spent time on it and we discussed on it. Yeah. Yeah, this is MS communication or not? Okay, boss. What is the next one? Next one. Okay, how to find out? How to find out how many microservices are executed, which components of which microservice executed in case of microservice intra-communication. In microservice intra-communication, tell me guys, intra-communication, how can we find out? How can we find out which components of which microservices are executed in the request flow? In the request flow. Tell me guys, answer. What is the answer? We need to enable distributed logging or tracing. Distributed logging / tracing on multiple microservices that are in intra-communication. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Come on. That are in intra-communication. Yes. In this process, every microservice should have slueth and zipkin clients. Zipkin client dependent, zipkin client support connected to the centralized zipkin server. Connected to the centralized zipkin server. Simply connected to the centralized zipkin server. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Right. So first of all, zipkin server is a separate one, guys. Okay. I'm just concentrating on distributed. See, by using log4j, we can do. Okay, now let me go for question. When to use log4j? When to use log4j? When to use slueth and zipkin? Slueth and zipkin. Answer. Okay. Log4j is required. Okay, guys. Log4j is required to write log messages. Okay, to write log messages. To write log messages. Either no. In both independent microservices execution and the microservice and the intra-communication enabled microservices execution. Intra-communication enabled microservices execution. Okay. Hmm. But we link log4j with slueth and zipkin. Slueth and zipkin. Come on. Uh, to write the log4j generated log messages having trace IDs and what is this span IDs? Okay, trace IDs and span IDs, which helps for distributed logging and tracing, which helps for distributed logging and tracing. Is that clear, my dear? Come on. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Is that clear? Okay. All right. Are you with me, guys? Are you understanding my statement? Array, Kibana, Splunk, all these are alternates, boss. Okay. Yeah, log4j is common, boss. Okay, to log4j will do logging. Log4j will use login. Right, boss. So industry uses log4j along with the slueth and zipkin only. Log4j along with the slueth and zipkin. Everyone got the clarity, guys? Okay, boss. Next. Keeping zipkin server ready. Zipkin server ready. Keeping zipkin server ready. Step number 1. Download zipkin server. Download zipkin server as a zip file, guys. Simply think about downloading zipkin server as a zip file. Zipkin server. What is the URL for that, guys? Zipkin executable should come. Zipkin executable should come. Array, where is downloading? Earlier I used to see this. Where is? Instrumentation library. No, yeah, I should get a zip file. Zip file. Where is this? Zipkin executable download. Executable. No, yeah, there is actually we can get directly jar also. We can get directly jar also. No, I want to show the zip file one. Zip one I want to show. Titled sourceforce.net. Yeah, fine. Zipkin download. Okay. Click on download button. Click on download button. What's happening? Wait a minute. I should get the zip file, guys. No, you can directly download the jar also. That's not an issue. But I just want to show the traditional way. I think downloaded. Downloads. Download section. Okay. Delete this one. Zipkin 0.3. Okay. Copy the, okay, otherwise extract this, guys. Extract files. E-drive. E-drive. Zipkin server soft. Zipkin server soft. Extracted to Zipkin server start. I hope download is complete now, boss. Properties. Yeah, 1.5 MB. I hope everything is ready. Yeah. Execution is done, guys. E-drive. Zipkin server soft. Done. Oh, where is this? Where is this then? Extract to Zipkin, this one. Zipkin executables. Zipkin server, any jar is there, guys? I'm not finding any jar there. Zipkin server, array, no jar, sir. There should be one or other jar file, boss. Zipkin server, Zipkin server. Let me search for jar. I think what I got is source file. Star.jar. Is there any Zipkin related jar, guys? No, yeah, what we got is wrong. What we got is wrong. Sorry. What we got is wrong. No, actually, go to download section. Done. Remove this. Okay. Open this. Zipkin server download. Zipkin server download. MVN repository. I think it's directly giving a Java point. 1 minute, what this fellow is saying. Yeah, he's asking to download directly jar file. Click on quick start to open Zipkin. Click on quick start and open Zipkin. Right. Let's see. Zipkin server download. All right, quick start. I think Java latest release. Wait. Java latest release, guys. They're directly giving jar file, guys. That's the good news. They're directly giving jar file. Yes, we got the jar file, my dear. Okay. They're directly giving jar file. Earlier, they used to do zip. If you extract the zip, you used to get the jar. But now they are directly giving the jar, guys. What I do is copy this jar to E drive zipkin server folder. Say paste. CMD. Say paste CMD. Tell me next one. How to run it, guys? How to run the jar file? How to run the jar file? Yeah, how to run the jar file? Java-jar, Java-jar, Zipkin. Yeah, Zipkin server 2.23.6 in .jar. Yeah, Zipkin is started, guys. Zipkin server is started and we are getting port number, right? Yes, take this one. Take this one, guys, and paste here. Okay, take this one and this one. So click on find traces. Here we are having find traces. Right now, are there any traces, guys? Are there any traces, nice? Right, there are no traces. That's why nothing is coming. That's why nothing is coming. Are you understanding my statement, boss? Okay, like this, we have to keep our Zipkin server ready, boss. So, shall we go for? Yeah, nowadays they are not giving this one, guys. Directly, we have to download jar file. Step 1, download download jar file that represents Zipkin server. Download jar file that represents Zipkin server. What is the procedure we followed, guys? Yeah, this is the URL, latest release. Okay. Go to Java section. Click on latest release. Okay, click on latest release. Click on latest release, guys. Okay, that gives what jar file, guys? That gives what jar file? Tell me. Here is my download section. Okay, which gives, okay, jar file. Representing, what is that, guys? Representing zipkin server. Representing zipkin server. Yeah. Start zipkin server, guys. Start zipkin server. Start zipkin server. Start zipkin server. Copy. Copy. Copy zipkin server jar file to zipkin file to your choice folder and execute the jar file. Understanding? You can collect from event repository also, no problem. Execute the jar file. Now this is the jar file, guys. Execute the jar file. Open zipkin server home page. Open zipkin server home page. Yeah, how to open zipkin server home page, guys? Here is zipkin server home page. Yeah, it can be localhost also. Click on find traces. Simply click on what? Find traces, guys. Everyone got the clarity, boss? Come on. Simply think about clicking on find traces. Right. Find traces button. Yes, here we are having find traces. Right now, much things are not there. In future, you will be getting many things. Right. Run query and a number of things. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Tomorrow when we meet, we will see practicals of it. We will see practicals of it. Okay. They asked you, so concept, where did you choose your project? Then how convince internals my project? Okay. Rakesh, can you mail me once? Okay. Vijay, I don't know much about Bitwise company. Search in the Glassdoor. Okay. It's better not to switch the company in 4 months. Okay. Right, boss. Thank you. Yeah, API gateway is next topic is API gateway.